Ooh, what ho chaps, I'm Magical Mike, and this is my char, my guardian, my chardian, and that's the chat that you don't need to see. It's a levelling build. Now, I know what you're thinking. A levelling build for a guardian. Yes, I'm thinking it too. Guardian's probably the easiest character I've levelled in this entire game so far. Bearing in mind I've done Warrior, which was easy, Necro was kind of easy, Engineer was irritatingly difficult, and now Guardian. So we're going to move into it. So first off, traits. Once you get your traits, really you can put points wherever you like, but the first 5 points that I chose to put in were in Honour, for Vigorous Precision. 5 seconds of Vigor whenever you deliver a crit. You can only get that once every 5 seconds. So as long as you crit every 5 seconds or so, you've got almost permanent crit. If you couple that with any kind of boon duration like in Virtues here, you're going to have permanent Vigor. That means more dodges, that means more survivability, and more awesome. So after those 5 points, I decided I was going to put my next 10 into Valor, so that I could get Meditation Mastery. That is for Smite Condition. That's going to take the recharge down from 20 seconds to 16 seconds. It gives you more damage, which is always good, nobody complains about that, and it lets you remove conditions. Speaking of, the first set of skill points you want to spend, I don't know how many skill points it cost, you want to get Signet of Resolve as fast as possible. It's the best heal you're going to get, and cures a condition every 10 seconds while it's on passive. Awesome skill. It's way better than Shelter. Oh my god, get it. So after I had my 10 points in there, I moved back into Honour and finished off those 10 points, so that I could get Shouts recharging faster, so that I could get Stand Your Ground to break stuns. Always good to have a stun breaker. Even in PvE, some people say, oh, you don't need it, and while that's kind of true, it's good to get into the habit of actually using them when you need it. So, practice makes perfect, get Stand Your Ground and break stuns. Also, Stand Your Ground gives you stability, which is the most overpowered boon in the game, and lets you do whatever the hell you like as long as you don't lose the boon. And Shout recharging faster means that you get these skills faster and better, more uptime on them. The next 10 points I put in were Zeal, just for 10% damage against burning foes. The minor trait, not too interesting, but you know, it helps out I suppose. And then after that, if you're too cheap or you just don't have enough money to buy your next trait book, I put 10 points into Virtues. For the minor trait is awesome, and let's see what we've got in there. Unscathed Contender is pretty good, Vengeful is also pretty good, and in these other ones like Spirit Weapons lasting longer, that's pretty good. Master of Concentrations, Consecration skills recharge faster and last longer, also a very good trait in group situations. But the reason I took these points out was because Virtues are really much better in group situations. Hopefully I'll have some footage of, say, Ascalon Catacombs or something you might be looking at right now. Virtues are way better in group situations, and just better to leave on you if you're playing solo, if you're levelling solo or whatever. I will say, in a group situation, Virtue of Justice is amazing if you've got 5 people in you. So if you've got a dungeon group going, you want Virtue of Justice on cooldown constantly, because you're going to have an incredibly long burn if you hit everyone with it. It's really powerful. So after you've bought your second trait book, I then moved on to maxing my Honour, well, maxing, at least getting 20 points in there, for Selfless Daring. The end of your dodge roll heals nearby allies. For me that heals for about 200 to 300 health, and couple that with your permanent Vigor, you're going to be healing a lot. It's actually ridiculous the amount of heals you can get out of a Guardian. I then maxed this out for two-handed weapon mastery, because I use a greatsword and I use a staff. Honestly, any sort of weapon that you have on your Guardian is going to be amazing. Obviously more group-oriented things like the mace and the shield are better in groups, but you can still use those solo if you want to. And then if you're using one-handed weapons, you probably want to take two-handed weapon mastery out for perhaps Writ of the Merciful for symbols healing allies, or maybe Empowering Might if you're critting a lot. I should also mention that as you're levelling, you should probably be getting armour appropriate for your level, wherever possible, and that goes for accessories as well. And the priority of attributes that I would go for would be Power, vitality, and then maybe precision so you can get some crits out of it. But you can see in my panel right now I've got 9% crit chance, and I crit more than enough to keep my vigor up quite a lot, so I'm okay. Now right now at level 57 I'm moving towards upping my valor so that I can get one of these traits. If I'm using meditations, which I sort of am using one at the moment, I could use focused mind. I could also use retributive armor, which gives me more precision, more crits if you haven't got any precision gear. And again, if you're in group situations, things like strength in numbers are going to do quite well as well. I want to say moving up from, say, 60 to 80, I would definitely work on maxing Valor and Honor, because these traits, these whole trait lines are amazing. Altruistic healing is ridiculous. If anyone knows those builds, then you know how good these are. And Monk's Focus, if you're using meditations, is actually quite good as well. Considering if they're instant as well, that means you're going to get 3 or 4 instant heals very, very quickly. And then I'm going to move up into Honor, and probably either gain Battle Presence if I'm with a group, or Pure Voice, so that I can have condition removal on my shouts, which I pretty much always have 2 of on my bar. And then it's your choice, really. If you want to keep your points in Zeal for your damage, or you want to go into Virtues if you're in group situations. If you maybe want to put points into Radiance for Signets recharging faster, really it's up to you. But honestly, my Guardian is ridiculously overpowered. I'm not saying that I'm any good at the game or anything like that, but I'm using level 35 rare armor at the moment, and I'm quite happy to go into Dredgewant Cliffs right now, which is what, a level 40 to 50 zone, so yeah, I'm over leveled for it. But it's gonna be easy, because I did Blaze Ridge Steps yesterday, and that was an absolute cakewalk. So hopefully, if you're playing a Guardian, you'll have a much easier time of it. If you even needed this build, I'm sure you didn't, because Guardian's quite easy to play. And that's about it. So I will see you guys next time. Cheerio.